Tesla update here on the 20th. Kind of a random time to do this video, but I'm looking at the chart, so why not? So I'm going to give the bull and the bear case here going into earnings. Either way, I don't care which case is going to happen. I think we bounce into earnings. I think next couple of days should be green for Tesla. And I'm looking for something minimum up here to like 225. I think that'd be a good spot for going into earnings. So I think 225 to 230 is probably going to happen. And so let's go over actually the bull case first, because I haven't been able to figure out this chart for a while, but I went over it a little bit more in depth today, and I think that this is supposed to be a fifth wave. I think this is more than likely, and then this is a fifth wave right here. We make a new high. So if this is the bullish case, 5 waves, so A or 1, and then we get an ABC move down. Everything works out fine, and then right here we get this move right here. This is the impulse move right here in one day, 13th to the 14th impulse move, and then we get this choppy expanded flat, and then this is actually 5 waves as well. So I have this whole thing as A, B, C, kind of a funky ABC move. Threw me off a little bit, and the reason I think this is a very good chance, if this is bullish, I think this would be a good chance of this being the right count, is because this would be an expanded flat, and look where we hit. We nailed the 1.61 fib. So that means that this, if this is the bull case, this would be potentially A or 1, this would be B or 2, and so we'd be looking for a minimum of 270. So nothing like that huge, but nice move if it happens. So let me draw this out real quick. So we'd be looking for a little bit higher than the last top, about $5 more by February 15th. So it'd be a huge move higher. And then that would end up being the overall X wave, potentially. This took, or it could be ABC as well. Let's see how long this took. This took a month. This took almost 2 months. So it would be ABC. And then I think actually, let me see how long this was. July 19th to October 31st, so 3 months and 12 days. And this would take us to, wow, that's kind of crazy if you think about this. Oh my gosh, I just realized something. October 31st, 3 months takes us to January 31st. 15 days takes us to 3 months and 15 days. This was 3 months and 12 days. This would be a little bit longer, so this could be the B wave. And this could be the A wave. Doesn't have to be WXY anymore. And then, wow, this is kind of crazy. And I just figured that out during this video, that would be about the equal time length as well. And then we'd be looking at, I really hope this count happens. I got some bullish positions. I want to see this rocket up for like 20 or 30 days. And that actually fits in what I've been talking about with all the other stocks. I've been saying mid-February. We're looking at mid-February top in the market, and Tesla's been lagging. So if this happens, you'd be looking at 270, and then you'd be looking at 175, what I've been talking about before. So 175 would still happen, except for it would be a C wave. So you'd be looking at like that. So this actually looks like perfect to me. Honestly, it actually fits. I'm confident about it. It looks like it works. We'll see what happens, but that looks like the right count to me. Just looking at this now. Everything matches up perfectly. 270 by February 15th, and then 175 by June 3rd. That also matches up with standard deviations. So standard deviations, look at this. If we hit 270, we're at the very top, 2 standard deviations, and then that allows us to sell off down here to 175 to be at the bottom of the standard deviations again, and then it's ready to go higher. So I'm actually thinking that this is the most likely now. That's kind of crazy that that just happened here on the video. But that's what happens. Keep on going over the scenarios, and sometimes it figures out, fits in place. So again, that's the bullish scenario. Let's go over the bear case. The bear one is just what I've been talking about. But again, that's the reason I always said this didn't make sense. This whole move didn't make sense to me, and I've been off on this. And then we get this huge move down that looks like an impulse move. So I was like, this is probably an A wave. After this is W, X, Y, like this. But now that I see we can go up here by February 15th, I think that it's probably more likely the bull case. But again, if this were to happen, it would be like this. That's the bear case. But again, what makes me think the bull case is more likely is because on all the other charts, I've been saying mid-February is like when I'm thinking everything's going to fall off a cliff. If we go to 225, we'll be there by earnings. So that doesn't make that much sense for us to fall off a cliff after earnings when everything else is going up, especially after we're that far oversold. And standard deviations, we'd be way far below this. So again, just going over this and making this video, I think that the bull case is more likely now. So I think we can see 270 by February 15th. Still watching this though again. So WXY, we'd be looking for an ABC move like this. So the bull case actually just delays this move out a little bit farther. If this were to play out, then we're looking for that third wave right away. And so yeah, again, the bull case looks like it's more likely. I added this on there. It's the oscillators. I haven't really used it that much. I'm just kind of learning how it works. I don't even have it set up very well right here. But we are ready for a move to the upside. So those are the two scenarios I see. I'm leaning towards the bull case now. Just looking at the timing of everything, looking at how everything worked out perfectly on this. I think we're looking for 270 by mid-February, most likely, but it all comes down to how this move plays out. This has to be an impulse move. Let's zoom in here a little bit. So this would have to be an impulse move. Let's look at that on lower time frames. So this would have to be the bottom right here. It cannot be, so this A cannot be right. Let me zoom in here. It looks pretty impulsive to me so far. So that's a good thing too. So it's probably either, if this is an impulse move, it's probably wave 1. Maybe we come back early next week. That matches up with QQQ falling, and then we rocket higher. And I would imagine that we finish 5 waves. This is purely guessing, obviously. But I would imagine we'd hit, let's see, 216, 214, and you'd be looking for about 220 for a first wave. Let's just see how this would work out all the way to 270. So 1 would be about right there. Pull back to 214. And then you'd probably, that would probably be potentially into earnings. Maybe you start off with first wave going into earnings, who knows. But 220, I'm just trying to see where we fill the gap at. So 228. Yeah, it does, I mean, I'm just making up random projections, but again, this move right here in the smaller time frames looks like it is set up for an impulse move. It looks impulsive to me so far. I would probably want to see a pullback early next week and then a nice move higher going into earnings, and then maybe a little bit of a pullback going into earnings, and then something going into earnings that makes the stock go all the way up to 270. But again, I'm watching. If this ends up being corrective, then I'm playing the downside. So that's pretty much it. Bull and bear case for Tesla over the next probably 30 days. Those are your two options. We're looking at 270 or we're looking at 175 after earnings. I'm leaning towards 270 now, just after I showed you that video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe for more updates, and I'll put out some more videos tomorrow.